In the previous lessons, we saw how the raw events that AWS services emit can be really complex and verbose, which makes them quite difficult to quickly understand. And so to solve this problem, we can use something called the EventBridge input transformation feature. And this feature enables us to transform busy events into clear and actionable messages before they reach their targets. So let's go back to looking at our raw AWS config event example that we used in the prior lessons for an S3 bucket change. This is all the information being passed to EventBridge that it needs to filter through. So looking at this, a lot of this is just not that helpful if we just receive a notification. We just want to know that something happened, and then we can always go into our logs and we can review each of the minute details. Instead, in this case, what I might be interested in maybe is, potentially we could look at the source, or we could just look at the account that's affected. If we have multiple different accounts, we can look at the time that it happened, the region in which it happened, of course, the resource and the resource name. So maybe just the bucket name, for example. And we'd want to know what it is that happened. So in this case, we have a change type of update. And so basically filtering out everything but those fields in that email inbox message that we receive so that we can immediately see it and decide to act on it or not. And then if we need to, we can dive into the details. Well, let's look at how we would implement this with our existing EventBridge rule. So we don't have to create a new type of rule or anything like that. Instead, all we really need to do is switch over to targets. And then as you'll see here for our input to target, we currently have it to match the event. That's why we're receiving that dump of information. So instead, we'll click on Edit. And then if you scroll down and you look at additional settings under Configure Target Input, again, currently set to matched events. We could also just do part of the matched event, constant JSON text, or we can use an input transformer. Then we can click on Configure, and this is where the magic happens. So once again, because I'm a fan of this, let's go ahead and take in a sample event. I will enter my own, and I'm going to copy and paste everything that we saw in here. So this is going to simulate that event coming in. Then we could also look at some example input paths, templates, and outputs just to see how this works. In this case, it's giving instance or EC2 instance examples. So we don't really need that. Instead, we'll go straight to our target input transformer and start by putting in an input path. So if we go back to our repository that I shared with you, and we go back to the EventBridge folder, within that, you'll find this input transformer.json file. So this first block right here is a JSON block that will go into this input path field. So let's go back and let's paste that in. We'll come back to what this is doing in just a second, because next we need to pass in our template. So go back to this file, copy line 14, and then paste that in. So what are we doing? What's going on here? What we're doing first is passing in this sample event that we'll use to test in just a second. Then what we're saying is, based on this event information that's coming in, I only want you to pluck out the following 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields from this event. So we want the bucket name, we want the change type, capture time, AWS region, and AWS account. It's going to go through that event, pull out that information that we're requesting based on this configuration. Then it will pass it into our template, where the template starts here and says S3 bucket security alert for our bucket, then inject the bucket name, how to change of, inject the change type, and so on and so forth. So now if we generate the output, then we will see, based on that sample event, what we would receive in our email inbox, right? A lot better than that blob of text that we received in the prior lessons. So let's go ahead and confirm this. Let's go down, skip to review and update because we don't need to modify anything else. So we'll update our rule. And so now if I go over to S3, because we're filtering by update, I won't want to create. I'll go ahead and change one of my existing buckets configurations. So we'll go to permissions. We're currently disabling block all public access. Let's go ahead and revert that back. We'll confirm. And then in a minute or two, I will receive an email notification that looks a lot better. So I'll be right back. And so after just about a minute, this is now the notification that we get. So for comparison, this is what we had before, and this is what we have now. Much, much better, much more actionable and can really help cut down on alert noise and alert fatigue because this is extremely actionable. And finally, before we start to wrap up this lesson, let's go back to the repo. Let's go back to the folder, and then you'll see a new file called S3 bucket config change monitor input transformer.yaml. That was a mouthful. Click on it, go inside of it. This is basically the same template we saw before. However, we added our input transformer, and this is what it looks like. Remember, because it's associated with the target itself, so our SNS topic, we can add the input transformer to that target or those targets. And then you would have the input paths map, those values that we saw before, and then you'd provide the input template that looks exactly the same. So it's that easy to add this in to our CloudFormation templates. So input transformation is particularly valuable whenever you're generating human readable notifications, just like the SNS topics that email your security team, as we saw in our example. Or also you can use it whenever your target service has specific payload requirements that may be coming in from different source events. And so you need to feed them in as the same input or output to that service. You can also use them whenever you need to filter out any sort of sensitive or unnecessary information before sending it to certain targets. And this is a really important use case, so be sure to remember this one. This is not the only way to do it though. As we'll see in the rest of this course, there are a couple other ways that we can filter out any sort of sensitive like PII or PHI information. And also as another use case, you might need to be able to combine information from multiple different parts of the event into a more logical structure. So you can really do quite a bit with input transformation, and it depends on the use case, but remember what they're for and how they work in case you see a scenario that asks you about EventBridge and asks you about input transformation. But that's it for this lesson. Let's go ahead and complete it here, and I will see you in the next one.